Howdy folks, welcome to this week's Ag Report. So we're going to chat just a little bit about the economic losses that happens when four-wheelers, Jeeps, vehicles, horseback riding, just joyriding goes out into our crops and damages the crops. Physically the crop and the soil, the ruts and damages that are left to remedy after that crop is gone. So, you know, our crop is out in the field for, we'll generally plant wheat in October and it gets harvested end of May, 1st of June, something like that. It starts off looking like a grass and then it matures, goes to joint, puts on a head, and then it turns golden and dries down, like say 14% moisture. Now, a lot of times people are maybe unaware of what they're seeing, and they'll go out into the fields and do donuts or go ride four-wheelers or even horses for that matter and stuff, thinking that they're not hurting anything. Even saw last week a guy did a Nestle plunge out in the wheat field and stuff. Well, every square foot of that crop matters, and once it is gone to joint, which think of it like a drinking straw, and it kinks, it's broken over and it's lost and it won't stand back up. And that's important because in these economic times right now, every square foot matters, and we are hoping that we can come out in the black, hoping, okay? And so anytime a vehicle, a person, anything goes in and disrupts that field, that's a loss. And that's why we hurry so quickly when it's harvest time, because even the weather, strong winds will knock seed on the ground, heavy rain will knock seed on the ground, and that's just a loss. It's unrecoverable. You've waited all these months for it to come to maturity. You hate for anything at the last minute to cost you income on there. So,
you know, as a farmer, we would really like for you to think of the fields as an office, because that's our office. That's where we do our work. That's where we get paid from. And that is our livelihood. That is how we feed our family. It's not our hobby. It's not something we do on the spur of the moment on the weekend. And we would not let our children come to your office or your workplace and disrupt your products on the shelves, or tear up the papers on your desk, or any of the other things that you may have in your office that you need for your livelihood. So we ask you to please don't let your children, your teenagers, or even yourself come onto property that you don't own and that you don't have control over or have permission to be on. Don't be there. It matters to us, it matters to our livelihood, and you may not realize it, but you're taking money out of the pocket that's going to feed my child, that little boy right there, that's going to feed us, that's going to help us pay our bills. Thanks.
Yeah, when we have those kind of incidents, I mean, there's a couple of different charges that could be filed on an individual. One is trespassing, depending on the circumstances, but they know that land it belongs to somebody else. They know it's not theirs, and they could be charged with trespassing. They could also be charged with criminal mischief, which involves the damage. So depending on the type of damage that's done, the value of that will determine the level of offense. But in any case, they could be in some serious trouble for going out and doing that kind of destructive action. And that's all it is. It's destructive action, that going out and doing donuts in somebody's field and tearing up their crops, or sprinkler systems, or whatever it may be, that it creates a lot of damage, and that property owner has to pay that. And so, yes, there are criminal charges that could result out of that, and people, you need to respect other people's property. Well, first of all, there are designated parks and things for those kind of activities. So, but if you think you see an area that you could do that in, then find the property owner. If it's not a local designated park or a state park that's designated for that purpose, then you need to find that landowner and get permission. And I would say written permission, because at the time, if you're out there and we find you and you don't have written permission and we can't find the owner, then we're not going to know whether it's legitimate permission or not, or somebody's just telling us that they do. So, I doubt if many landowners are really going to give people permission to do it. It's kind of unusual for that to happen, but it could happen. But just like anything, even if it means just going on their property, you need to ask people's permission first. You can't just go on people's property without their permission. The trespassing is typically a Class B misdemeanor, but from there it goes up depending on the circumstances. And then with criminal mischief, again, it could be a felony depending on the property value, the damage value, or it could be a misdemeanor, either one. But either one you can end up going to jail over.
So to try and put that in a little bit of perspective, we'll just put this in kind of round numbers for easy math. Let's say you're getting $5 a bushel for wheat. That number fluctuates. And let's say you're averaging 40, 50 bushels an acre. So you're talking about $200, $250 an acre. So remember, an acre is about the size of a football field. So anytime you go out there with a vehicle, whether that be a four-wheeler or a pickup or a Jeep or whatever it is, doesn't take long before you've cost several $100s, and it can quickly escalate into the thousands. Because think about, not only are you losing what you're running over, you're also costing more money to fix those ruts and that damage for the next crop. So it can easily double that expense just on what you lost in the grain or the crop out there, but what you've got to reinvest in time and money to go back and fix that dirt and prepare that soil again for the next crop, because you can't work it out there with all those ruts and stuff like that in there. So just kind of give you an idea of what we're talking about there, and our sheriff has indicated it can quickly elevate into a felony charge because of the economic threshold in there. We appreciate y'all listening today, and I hope this gives some insight from a farmer's perspective of our field and what can happen to it. Y'all take care now.